Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here as usual. Thank you for dropping by for yet another chess video. Well, Thanksgiving has just passed and hopefully everybody has had good Thanksgiving, good holidays, and everybody stayed safe, stayed out of trouble, and was able to maybe, hopefully, play some chess as well. Anyways, in today's video, I am going to show you guys yet another cool chess set, a very unique one for that matter. It's a vintage chess set. I'm not really sure how old it is, but in today's video, we're going to kind of take a look at these Roman, or what I've seen online, Caesar themed chess set. And we're going to take a closer look at this particular one. I was able to pick this up online. I saw somebody was almost giving it away. I think it was like $50 or so that the person wanted for it with the board, which seemed like it was a good deal. And I'm always on the lookout for chess sets that people are selling or giving away or whatnot, so that I could bring them over here and show you guys, because I want this channel to be diverse as possible. I know recently I've been sort of focusing more on some of the electronic chess sets and chess boards, because I do realize that a lot of people out there, especially those who are looking for gifts for other people or just interested in technology in general, gravitate towards, watching those type of videos. And as a result, I've been trying to bring people more of what they want. But I also realize that it's also good to be able to show you guys a variety, unique chess sets from the past, because like I said, it's all chess sets, in my opinion, are very aesthetic, and therefore, anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, while I show you guys this chess set, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the sort of assumptions that I have made about the history of this particular chess set, where it has been and how sort of it has been stored or played or what have you. And I do realize that assumptions aren't necessarily correct, but assumptions sometimes help us to kind of get a better idea as far as where this chess set comes from. And like for example, some of you guys, if you played Sudoku for like, especially the more hard ones, more difficult Sudoku puzzles, sometimes you do have to assume in a particular square, like maybe you don't have enough information, so you have to make an assumption. Well, this could be either a 3 or a 5. And so you say, okay, let us assume that this particular square is going to be a 3 and go from there. And with those assumptions in place, you might be able to arrive at a certain conclusion. Same goes with math. A lot of times in higher math courses, like calculus and everything, sometimes you do have to assume. There might be a variable in like an x or a y, and you say, well, let's assume x is 10. And let's see what y can be, and then therefore we're going to go back to x and change it if we need to, if it's wrong. So that's basically what this is going to be about. I'm just going to tell you guys what I think about this chess set, and you guys let me know what you think about this chess set and whether you like it or not. Now, before I jump into this video, I did want to mention that I have some really exciting news to share with you guys, so be sure to stay tuned in this video, as I will be sharing them down the road. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in, take a look at this chess set. This is the chess set that I purchased from a gentleman that said that this particular chess set, his parents bought this while they were in Italy. So I'm going to show you some of these pieces up close, but the particular chess set here is it's all metal. And in fact, these pieces are extremely heavy. The knight that you see here, actually, if we take a closer look right here, the detail, the part of the leg has broken off. I'm not sure, because here's the other knight, and the other knight's leg is not broken off. It's not really a big deal. It doesn't take away that much. If we're going to be extra picky, then yeah. We would assume maybe that the leg broke off at some point. Maybe the knight fell and it hit the floor or something, and it just broke a piece off. However, being that these pieces are metal, I'm not sure how that would work. But anyways, you have the brass. This is brass right here, or so I think it is. Really, like I said, really heavy. It's not hollow inside, it's full solid. Therefore, I mean, these pieces are extremely heavy. In fact, I've seen very similar chess sets online, and they were saying that the overall weight of all the pieces is like 12 pounds. 12 pounds, guys. I mean, like, what have we seen? We've seen 2 pounds, but not 12. I mean, these are super duper heavy pieces. Now on the bottom, most of these pieces at this time, as you can see, already do not have the felt. Hopefully this will be in focus. Some pieces do. Some pieces still have a little bit of felt, and the felt that's present here, I'm gonna kind of, hopefully you guys will see. The felt that's actually been present on the pieces is this like red. It's not super thick, but this red velvety felt that, in my opinion, maybe it was thicker back when it was initially purchased, and maybe it thinned out over time, but I think that this is a very kind of inexpensive. See, you can actually kind of take this off, and it's just a little piece of paper underneath here. I feel like if this chess set were to be used again, honestly, yeah, this is really thin. It would need to be refelted, and if I do find already like felt circles that are good quality, like on Amazon something, I might take the extra expense and just buy those and refelt them, because these pieces are extremely heavy and they're metal. And as you will see here shortly, although the board that you're seeing here below is not in full visibility, I'm going to show this to you guys in a little bit. It's actually a marble board, and it's extremely heavy, extremely. It's like marble or some kind of stone. It's super duper heavy, and I'm going to tell you, playing metal pieces on this board, I would definitely not recommend it, because it's almost as if you're playing with metal pieces on a glass board. I feel like if a piece falls on the side, it's going to scratch up the board, or worse yet, it's going to cause the board to chip, because this board is super duper heavy. We'll take a closer look at the board here in just a little bit. Anyways, you have the brass, as we can see here. Brass. These brass pieces, I'm assuming, are to represent the dark pieces. And then you have the what's called the silver plated right over here. Now the silver plated is, as we'll see here shortly, actually over time looks like it's starting to chip off. I'll give you guys some good examples. I think with the, like, as you guys can see right over here, basically this sort of a plating, it's not, I don't know what kind of plating it is, but it seems like, due to aging or maybe keeping the chess set in like too cold or too hot of a environment for a long period of time, maybe it's just over time starting to chip, starting to deteriorate. So you can refelt all these pieces, but how do you go about replating them? I suppose you'd have to just take all the pieces and then like scrub off the existing plating, which, like I said, it's not real silver, it's not even metal, it's some kind of an inexpensive plasticky feel to it. It just looks like it's silver. But anyways, you'd have to probably chip everything off and then resurface it and replate it somehow. I'm not sure how that entails, but so the gentleman I bought this from, this chess set has been purchased for him by his parents while in Italy. And that was a very long time ago. So with that being said, I am going to assume that this chess set's probably about maybe 30 or 40 years old. Maybe. Possibly not. However, one of the chess pieces, and I'll show you guys here in just a second, I'm not really sure which one it was. Okay, so let's assume for a minute that parents go to Italy and they're like, yeah, look at this awesome looking chess set, very authentic, very Italian, which in Italy, I'm assuming that a chess set like this would only cater to visitors, people that want to get more of the Italian culture. Either way, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's buy this. Let's buy this for our son. This is a very heavy chess set. I don't think they would have bought this board at the same time that they bought the pieces. I feel like the board was bought separately. The pieces themselves they are very heavy together. Like I said, they're probably over 10 pounds. So if somebody's going out on vacation, usually you watch the weight of your baggage and you're like, oh yeah, let's get this 10-pound chess set that, our son may or may not use, but it looks really cool. So let's purchase it and let's take it back. That's a really heavy thing to have to carry back, but well, whatever, you know, I probably wouldn't purchase a gift that would be that heavy. I would purchase some kind of a little trinket or whatever it is, maybe a piece of jewelry or something for something light, something you can just kind of put in a Ziploc bag and take back with you. I mean, this is a very heavy gift in my opinion. But if you flip this over right over here, there is a number 130,000 and then a B0065 over here. So I was doing a little bit of research, and like I said, I may be entirely incorrect, but if let's assume back in 1980s, the Italian currency of lira was certainly, you know, something that could have been the representing of the 130,000 maybe lira. So I did a little bit more digging, and I found out that if we were in 1980 to convert the price of lira to a dollar, that 130 right here would have been about $150. Which, if we took that $150 and we basically, I suppose, extrapolated that to the current day, this chess set would cost about $500, which I've seen chess sets that are very similar to this sell for about $400. I've seen some that were vintage that were selling for about $300. So $500 is ballpark around where I would assume you would pay. $500 is a lot, but back then it might have been $150. So this was a nice, you know, nice gesture, nice gift for, you know, maybe a birthday gift or something. So 130, assuming this was bought around 130,000 lira. Nowadays, the lira to a dollar is like almost nothing. So it would have to have been a long time ago. Assuming this was purchased in Italy, just like. Now, let's talk a little bit about the chess set. Like I said, the board itself, and I'll show you guys in a little bit, super duper heavy. I would not be playing this particular chess set on this board just because, well, the pieces that still have the felt, it's reasonable. You can still play it. I would not hit this board hard because literally, if you hit the piece hard enough, it would cause a crack. But the pieces that no longer have any felt or have just like a remnant of the felt, as you see here, I would not even want to put these pieces on this board, you know, because I feel like they're gonna either scratch up this board, they're gonna cause this board to like break. So my assumption is this chess set was purchased more of a decorative thing than actually a playing chess set. Okay, the knights in particular, if you look at the light knight right over here, and we kind of spin him a little bit, you notice the degree to which the silver plating has been coming off of this particular knight. Look at the way that so much of the plating has come off. Now underneath, it's kind of got this gray like material. I'm assuming some kind of a metal. And right over here, you guys are probably gonna have a really hard time seeing this little detail, but right over here, there's this like little tiny little metal ring right here. And it almost looks to me like this tiny little ring on top of the hoof. It was actually holding the price tag, because the way that it's, so there, my assumption is right over here, right off of it was hanging a little thread with the price tag of what this chess set was costing. It's just it was never removed, but there's no other reason to have this little metal ring. It's not really supporting the hoof. It's not protecting anything, unless a kid wrapped around, you know, a little piece of metal ring around it for no particular reason. But I'm assuming it was a little price tag thing. Now, why do I think that this particular chess set was more decorative than anything? It's because all the other pieces, like for example the rook, was you see here, the plating, the silver plating has not come off. See, it's nice, and because it's not a very, you know, it's not a flashy piece. There's not a whole lot to see here. However, both of the knights, and knight is one of the first pieces that if a person comes into your house and you have this nice chess set somewhere set out on the table, to show people, not necessarily to play, what is the first piece that a person is going to grab to analyze? It would be the knight. Everybody grabs the knight first because the knight's the one that has the most detail. Plus, people that don't play chess so much are more familiar with the horsey rather than, the rest of the pieces. Therefore, I feel like this piece has been taken up and held and evaluated and analyzed more so than any of the other pieces. Therefore, you could see all the plating that has come off, probably with just holding the piece, kind of squeezing it, and the fact that this plating has already been weakened, it would kind of chip off a little bit more quicker. So that's my assumption. Like I said, I could be wrong about all of the details that I mentioned, but I just wanted to kind of pass this on because it's interesting, because that's all I know is that it was bought in Italy and it was bought as a present, and we can make all the assumptions. I really don't think this chess set was used to play. Like I said, the board might have been bought separately because there's no way. The board is like over 20 pounds, and there's no way that the same people that bought this board in Italy, the chess set in Italy, were like, oh yeah, let's get a board as well. Let's get the super duper heavy one. Because like I said, because of the pieces are metal, I don't think that this is the best board for it. I think a wooden board, something softer a little bit, maybe even, I don't know. It's got to be a softer board than this. This is almost like glass. For aesthetics, to set this board up as a display item, yes, a board like this, because it's nice and shiny, because it goes well with the coloration of the pieces, maybe not a bad idea. But as a playing board, I don't think this goes well with this particular chess set. Anyways, let me stop rambling on. I'm just going to show you guys each individual piece. Have you guys kind of make your own decision as far as what you think. So here are the kings. I pulled up the curtain so that you guys can see a little bit better. So here's the light king. Once again, we see that with the brass, because there's no plating, because I'm assuming this is all one solid metal that doesn't flake off like the other one. I really wish they would have used some kind of other metal or a combination of metals, like maybe like nickel or something, so they wouldn't have to plate this. As you can see down the road, however many years this chess set is, it starts to break off, and now it's not as aesthetic. It doesn't look as new. Something has to be done. Like I said, I don't like the fact that it's chipping off like this, because now it doesn't look as extravagant, at least the light pieces. But it's still nice and very detailed. I mean, look at I'm assuming this is Caesar or some kind of an emperor. Look at the detail, the attention to detail. A lot of these themed chess sets, like in the back, they'll have this sort of a big robe. If you guys have noticed it on some of the other chess sets, they'll have this big robe that'll extend all the way to the bottom on both the king and the queen, and also on the pawns. They'll have this big robe. I think that it has to do with the way that these chess pieces are molded, that it makes sense to have this backside to it, whether it's a robe or some kind of a shawl or jacket, what have you, to provide the necessary stability to a piece that is this large. And then on the front, you have all the details. And like I said, I think, see, as I'm doing this, like I have the flakes coming off. And then on the front, you can have all the details that you want to have. But yeah, so that's that. And cool looking kings. Let's take a look at the queens. Actually, in this particular case, although most of the time we see that the kings is the tallest piece in any chess set, here the queen is a little bit taller. I don't think she's standing taller than the king, but the king is shorter than the queen. Queen is kind of robed completely. You can only sort of see her face, and then everything's covered by this long toga robe thing. I was very interested in the Roman culture back when I was about 20 or so. I've seen a lot of movies that kind of propelled me to have that interest in Roman culture. I took Latin in college. In fact, I took Latin for like 3 years. Because, like I said, because of my interest in the Roman culture, I minored in Latin, and it was interesting, I guess. Although I'm not so much interested in Roman culture now, I still think that this is really lovely, really cool little chess set. yeah, there's not a whole lot that can be said about the queen, just that she's sort of holding her garments here on the top and on the bottom. I guess, you know, keeping it all closed in and preventing it from falling off, I suppose. Just sort of this modest look. Very nice. The eyes are open, I'm assuming they're open. And that's that. Yeah, queen is a little bit taller than the king. Moving on, we have the bishops. This is, I'm assuming it's a bishop based on, you know, elimination of all the other pieces. The pawns are all the same, and you have these bishops holding these sticks here, where I'm assuming they're like some kind of a religious stick or something. They do look more or less like soldiers. They don't look like bishops or anything like that. Uh, they don't look like they belong to any church really. But there you have it. You know, the modern chess sets, the bishops are part of that sort of religious conversion of chess sets that happened probably later on. I'm not really sure if chess actually was played during the Roman times, but it could have been. And if that's the case, then would they have been playing with something like this, or would they have had something a lot simpler? I'm not really sure. But there you have it. Those are the bishops. Really, really quite cool. I would not have assumed that these were bishops. I really was looking for bishops, and then I found these, just like I said, based on eliminating all the other choices. And I said, okay, well, I'm assuming these are bishops. Once again, you have that sort of a toga shawl in the back. And then in the front, you have the outfit of a Roman soldier, I guess. So that's kind of cool. The knights, we're going to bring these in closer. These are the knights. The brass knight looks nice, and all the brass pieces actually look very much so new and like they really withstood the test of time a lot better than the silver plated ones, because the silver plated ones are really they're breaking apart quite a bit. They're heavier than any of the other pieces that I have, and that probably just has to do with the fact that it's all one single piece of metal. Yeah, all these pieces, as you can see, like right over here, they're all full solid metal inside, and they feel metal. There's the balance of the pieces just tells me that these big chunks are 100% full metal. So, like I said, these are really heavy pieces and really quite nice. Definitely worth more than $50 that I paid for everything. Considering the board itself is by itself would have been selling for more than that. I've seen boards like this sold for $150 new, but I'm not a big believer of boards like this, because this really thick, and you'll see here in just a second, this really thick, really heavy board, I don't really have use for things like that, because for one, I feel like they would be more apt to cracking, breaking, potentially falling, injuring somebody. You don't want a board like this to be falling on your toe, that's for sure. It's really, really heavy. It's probably more than 20 pounds. So there you have it. These are the knights. These are really nice. I've talked a little bit about how some of the knights, when they make them, and especially if they make them too elaborate, you have the diameter of the base, and then you have the piece. And sometimes, unlike all the other pieces, you have the extremities or the appendages, like the little legs here, arms, whatever, they extend beyond the diameter of the base. And sometimes that's okay if you're playing on larger squares. And sometimes it may not be so nice, because then these pieces could be doing this. They could be getting in the way of the other pieces. Obviously, you wouldn't necessarily put them like this together, but you probably put them like this. But still, this could create to where, like, hey, you know, this knight is sitting in its own square, and yet we're kind of, you know, getting each other's way, because the knights are sort of propelling or extending further than they need to, okay? So, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, this is more of a decorative chess set than really a functional one. So there's that, and let's take a look at the rooks. Here are the rooks. These look more or less like some kind of towers. Some kind of like defense towers or something, or maybe some kind of housings or emperor quarters, what have you. It has this sort of a little shield here on the bottom that you see. I'm going to shoot you guys some links to where I found similar chess sets online. This video is not really affiliated with anything. It's just for our interests. So if you guys can take a look at the similar ones. Like I said, this is a nice elaborate chess set. It looks really cool. And then you have the pawns. Let me show you the pawns. The pawns are these little soldiers right over here. There's a bunch of them. At first I thought these were the bishops, but they're actually the pawns. In this case, we could see that even though, like with a lot of the themed chess sets, what we oftentimes notice is the pawns will get the least amount of attention as far as detail. And I've talked about this before, considering that you have half of your pieces actually being pawns. I feel like it's important to make sure that the pawns are equally detailed as the rest of the pieces. And in this case, we do see that that is the case. The pawns are still very detailed. You have a very elaborate looking warrior with what looks like it might be a shield on the side, and maybe like a little bit of a, I don't really know what this is, like some kind of a triangular, either a book or, like you can see right here, either a book or maybe some kind of a weapon. I'm assuming it's probably a weapon. And the back side of these still has the nice detailed extensive, hood or whatever you call it, cape. Very much so detailed, just like all the other pieces. So that's really nice to see. I'm happy that that's the case. Now, if you pay attention and look a little bit closer here at the base of the pawn, right over here, I'm gonna kind of move it around. Right here where the light shines on the bottom, do you guys see that little line? That tells me that it, just like the plastic chess sets, I'm assuming that this chess set, at least the pawns, were stamped together. Maybe they had two molds on both sides, the front mold and the back mold, of metal or whatever it is, brass. And then they heat it up and they squeeze the molds together and they make the pieces. They are definitely not hand carved or handmade, as it would probably not make sense. But my question is, in this particular situation, okay, so you have this particular chess set. I'm assuming it's made by more than one at a time because it's made at some kind of a factory. You have to have the mold in order to make this set. My question would be, how long would that particular mold last? How many chess sets can you get out of a single mold? Whether that mold can last for years or whether you have to make another mold. And, when the company is making these, obviously, they don't expect to sell millions of these. So you need some kind of a factory or some kind of a place where you're going to be making these, where you're going to be pouring metal or whatever and making these. I'm wondering what kind of expense it would be to actually, what do you have to do? Build a factory fresh, and then you have to, I don't want to sound ignorant, but it's just that you have to have the mold, and then the mold, you have to kind of say, okay, we're going to be making 1,000 of these chess sets, and we're going to get rid of the mold or whatever, or we're going to make a new mold. Because what you will see is when I'll send you the link to these particular chess sets, there's varieties, there's variabilities in this set, even though they're all saying, oh, Roman chess set. Some of them are different, and a little bit of a different may mean that further down the road, a couple of years has gone by and they had to make another mold, or, they didn't keep the same mold. Alrighty, yeah, I had to get hooked onto a wire here because my battery died. But anyways, so yes, this basically is it. This is the chess set. I'm going to take the camera and hopefully show you guys how this chess set looks. Also show you guys the board a little bit closer. Okay, so holding my camera up here above the chessboard, this was what this chess set looks like all set up. I do apologize for the reflection. A lot of times this kind of is hard to avoid, especially with boards that are shiny like this one. And I'm going to try not to make the footage too shaky, but this board here is super thick. It's probably like about the thickness of my finger here, if not more. Yeah, super super heavy. It's here. I'm gonna kind of sit closer so you guys can see the board a little bit better. It's super heavy. I think the owner of the board actually took a bunch of duct tape and duct taped the bottom of it. I'm not sure why he did that. You could probably see the duct tape on the other side. See how it's like taped on the bottom? He only duct taped half of the board. My only assumption was that wherever he was placing the board, it wasn't balanced properly and maybe it was kind of rocking a little bit. And that is the reason why he did what he had to do to kind of give the board a little bit more balanced. These are all the dark pieces set up, as you can see right over here. Really, I mean, from an aesthetic standpoint, this is a really nice and fine presentation chess set. I'm not venturing to say that you can't play with a chess set like this. I would probably say that if for practical purposes you'd want to have a chess set that's either plastic or wooden one that you can play every day, something like this you could still play on it. It would be really nice. As we've seen before on this channel, there's a lot of different varieties of chess sets out there, and you can play with a lot of these chess sets and you would probably get a nice game in. But to be able to play every day, I'll probably say this is one of those chess sets you wouldn't necessarily play every day. Maybe if somebody comes over and you're like, hey, look at this cool looking thing. But yeah, that's it. And so what do you guys think? What do you think about this chess set? Have you ever had one like this? Have you seen one in the shop? If you have seen one somewhere at the store, what were your opinion of a chess set like this? I think it's kind of categorized as a luxury chess set because everywhere online where I've seen these chess sets, they were somewhere between $300-400. So it's not like people are giving away these, and they're well made. I think that if you bought one that was a little bit newer, you'd be less likely to encounter like the breaking of the plating and stuff, and a little bit more, you know, a little bit more pretty. But like I said, I think this chess set is at least 30 years old. So that's kind of cool. I do realize that a lot of times when you're looking for a chess set that's unique and unusual like this, it might be hard to find. But at the same time, if you're not necessarily looking for specifically a chess set like this, but you're just looking for a unique chess set, a lot of times online you can get either on eBay or like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, wherever you know, it depends on where you live. Just looking around, and sometimes you stumble upon something like this, and a lot of times people will, like I said, they'll almost give it away because it's you know, it's unfortunate to say, but at the same time it is the truth that when it comes to selling chess sets online and stuff, there's just not that many people that will want to purchase them because there's really not that much of an interest in a lot of these chess sets, especially ones that are more decorative like this. It's like, well, who would buy this? You know, I can buy all of them as long as they're not too expensive because I'll bring them to this channel and show it to you guys. That would be my aim. You know, I've had some people, they say, Alex, you're collecting way too many chess sets, you know, you need to go see a shrink or whatever. No, I'm buying these to show you guys. You know, I'm probably going to find a place to store these and you know, maybe show it to you guys maybe one more time in the future if somebody really wants to see it closer. But at the same time, it's like, would I be able to sell this somewhere to someone? Not likely. Maybe I'll just give it as a present to somebody at some point, or maybe my kids would just want to play with these pieces, but I wouldn't want to let my 3-year-old play with these because they're really heavy. I mean, you could get hurt by a chess set like this. But at the same time, I've seen actually just recently. The cool thing is I found that they were selling the DGT Centaur. I was looking at the DGT Pegasus. I know this old technology and it's been around for years now compared to some of the other electronic chess sets, but I really wanted to get my hands on a DGT board. And I actually contacted DGT at some point, and I was seeing to, you know, maybe I could get a board or I can get affiliated with them, but I didn't really get a response if DGT company is not, I don't think they're located in the United States. They're somewhere in Europe. And I don't know if they are looking to affiliate with anybody at this point. So I emailed him one time and I was inquiring as to the DGT Pi clock that I have in my possession that I wanted to review like years ago. And the problem that was holding me back is I didn't have a board to link it to. So I didn't want to review it necessarily, because what's the point of reviewing it just as a clock without its capabilities if the DGT Pi is specifically designed to be like a computer that could help you, you know, get a better sort of AI challenge. So I was looking online, and House of Staunton is currently holding a pretty large sale, or at least was a couple of days ago, and it was like 20% off, which would be 30% off for me if I were to use my membership discount for an additional 10%. Anyways, I was gonna see if I could purchase the DGT Pegasus, but then the Centaur seemed like it was a little bit more advanced, and it had a little tiny little screen on the side that could show you where your pieces are, and I thought that was something that I personally was looking for in an electronic chessboard, so that was attracting my attention, and I did end up finding one that I online that was somebody was selling, and it was less expensive than brand new, because brand new the board is like $400 or so. So I ended up buying the used, and hopefully I'll be getting that here soon. And as soon as I get that, I want to be able to put that together, test it out all the ways that I can, plug in the DGT Pi, and then make a couple of videos. I want to review the DGT Pi clock finally after like a year of waiting, and I want to test out and do a review of the DGT Centaur board, which I know there's a lot of people that wanted to see the video. And like I said, yes, I do realize it's not new technology. Yes, I will have probably people that'll comment saying like, dude, you're reviewing technology that's already like not new and it's like old. But at the same time, there's still going to be people out there that will be looking at these DGT boards, at the Chestnut Air down the road, and you know, the Chess Up and all these boards, even down the road, as long as they're still being sold, people are going to be looking for review videos, and that's why I'm making these. Not necessarily because, hey, look at me, it's new technology, but no, it's just that, like I said, I make these videos because initially when I started this channel, what I realized is that there was not enough review videos of different chess sets, and that's why I started this channel about 2 years ago or so. And people are happy, people are thankful that I make these videos, and I will continue to make them as long as they're helpful to other people. So that's the cool news, and stay tuned, subscribe so that you don't miss those videos that are going to be coming up shortly, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it for sure. I always enjoy sharing chess sets with you guys, and so everybody stay safe, stay productive, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.